What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're working back in the garage today. I have to apologize, I had a microphone malfunction on just this intro, so I'm just doing a quick voiceover. We're working on the project YFZ. Today we're going to be working on the throttle body and installing the intake and getting this girl closer to starting up. Just showing you guys the capacitor here. We did the harness in the last video. If you guys didn't see that, check that video out. Custom built wire harness from YAMAHA Racing. But let's get this thing going. Alright guys, I did already put on the manual idle speed controller. That's just 3 screws, 1, 2, 3. Pretty easy. It already comes with a little O-ring, so you don't have to worry about the stock one. So we're just going to put the throttle cable in, and then we can shove it into the quad. Hopefully you guys can see. I got you guys kind of set up on the Nerf bar with my like my little, I don't even know what the hell you call it, like the clamp mount that bends and whatever. I don't know. It's pretty handy. So this is pretty easy. Just put the cable through the hole and then thread on this little connector. We'll tighten it after. And then it did take me a minute to find this guy. It was under my workbench, which was weird. I don't know how it got there. I was freaking out for a minute because I knew I took it out. I always hang on to these because, you know, B&R takes these things all apart, so you don't want to be responsible for any extra pieces. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to grab the butterfly with my finger, and then you can kind of get this in here carefully somehow like that. Oh, I gotta turn it. Alright, I got it in, but I gotta just, oh, there we go. So you can see it's in there. I'll pull the throttle, so that's good. So then I'll just take a 10 mil, tighten that, and then we can pop the cover on. Oh, 8 mil, I mean. Or not, maybe I'm lying. Oh, it is a 10 mil. I had a friggin' 13. I just snug that up, and that's good. You put the rubber boot back over it. Like that. Alright, now for the cover, what I'm gonna do is what I like to do anyway. Try to keep my stuff organized over here. I'm just going to spray a little WD-40 inside this thing. Just to help keep out moisture. Alright, so I'm going to get the O-ring on, and then we can get the cover on. Hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, it looks like you guys can see. I got this little tiny thin O-ring that sucks to get in. Try stretching it out just a little bit. This thing's really gonna fight me. Usually these things are not too bad, but this one's gonna give me trouble. I think that was the way it went. So try to put it back the way it's kind of formed. Trying to stretch it out a little bit. All right. Get the little Allen heads started. Snug them up by hand first, and then we'll tighten them with the ratchet. So this isn't too bad getting in from the side. It's a little tricky, but they do go in and out. I've done it a million times. You kind of got to put it in sideways, and then you can flip it right into place. It's not too bad. So I'm going to move the camera just a little bit so you can kind of see how we shove it in there. So just like that. So basically what we're going to do, let me just make sure all this stuff is good. This has to go like that. All right, so basically I'm gonna flip it like this and just wiggle it carefully. Get all my wires out of the way. It's a little harder with the cable, but it'll go. Usually I go like this, but I can't because of the cable. There we go. We got her. We got her. All right, so now you just gotta line it up and just push it into the boot that's on the throttle body. There is a little, like a key on it. There's like a little slot and like a little metal tab that you line up if you're not familiar with it. I will show you afterwards. All right, let me get the up on. Noisy lift, noisy lift. All right, there we go. Now I think the other thing I like to do, guys, with this is I like to loosen the clamp on the throttle body all the way. I think it makes it a little easier to pop this guy in. So if you just unscrew it, it'll stay right in place. Just unscrew it all the way. It's going to give us a little extra flex on the boot, and we should be able to pop this thing in easy. You'll feel kind of a click, like a couple clicks, and it looks like we got it right in place. And then you just gotta take your, actually you can get it, I got the clamp. I'm gonna reposition you guys so you can kind of see the top. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let me see if I can get you somewhere else. All right, so I'll show you right there. You can see the clamp. The clamp is right down in there. I'll put you guys on this side. We're just gonna tighten that up. Tighten it up with our ratchet. I'm gonna turn it by hand first. We'll definitely got to tighten my lift. I think the like the supports under that, there's a couple set screws on the bars that go through. I think it's got to be loose because it's usually not that noisy. The other side's quiet, so definitely annoying. All right, so we got that on there. Let's give her a few turns. Turn it by hand first. So this does have like a little stop in between the clamps, so you can't really over tighten it. You kind of just tighten it until you hit that little stopper and you are good to go. Just double check that you know, if you are doing this, double check that you are all the way in with the throttle body. You don't want any air leaks because the quad will run like crap. It'll have a high idle. If you have any kind of air leak, you'll get like a high idle and it's no good. So just keep an eye on that. All right, so that is in place. We'll just double check the throttle once again. Throttle feels good. We can plug in our, I'm gonna move you guys. Actually, I can probably do this. Maybe I can do this and hold you guys. So we have the injector wire. Where the hell is that? Oh, right here. So our injector wire can go on like so. All right, then we need our fuel line. We got that guy. That you just, oh, we do have this sensor. There's a hose that's got to go on that. That's this guy. So that can you just plug in under there. Like so. So that's that guy. And now we can do the fuel line. Make sure you put this kind of thicker end down with this like rubber piece that goes down. Just push it in. It'll snap and then you can close that orange clip. And that's that guy. So that's good. All right, so that's all set on that. Oh, we got one more connection to make. We got our plug for our TPS. That guy is right here. Plug that in. Boom. So now we can move on to the rest of the intake. We're just putting our sensor into the intake, the inlet temp sensor right there. That's that. All right, we got our hose clamp set up, kind of in the position you're gonna want it, like that. This way you can get a screwdriver on the right side of the quad up top. It'll make it easy to screw in. So you can kind of just work this in here. This is gonna fall off, of course. It's gonna fall off. This is a little tricky with the subframe in and the shock in place, but it's doable. So you just gotta take your time and get it done. Before I do that, I'm just gonna put one more zip tie around these wires, just so they kind of stay in place. It's funny, you get a lot of extra room once you get a cut harness or a custom built harness. That's better. All right, try this again. Now it's just a matter of kind of twisting it onto the throttle body. This little hose is in my way. Oh, this thing. I'm gonna have to Alright, so I just kind of grab it, get it on the throttle body, and just kind of twist it back and forth. It should pop on. It does have little stops that you will hit on the top and the bottom. And then I'm just going to check the orientation. You kind of want it where the little sensor is kind of crooked like that. And I'm just going to make sure that this will fit, which it will. Oh man, that's tight. That is tight. I might have to tweak the harness a little. Oh, I got to come up over. That's why. That'll work right there. All right. All right, so I think that's pretty good where I have it. So I'm going to just tighten it up. If I have to, I might have to just adjust it with the box, because the box has to sit a certain way to attach this thing to it. It's not in all the way on the other side. Make sure you check both sides. Make sure that intake tube is sitting flush against the throttle body, and then a little bit of a gap on this side. That looks pretty good now. Yeah, right there is good. All right, try to tighten this. It's gonna be tricky. I'm gonna try to hold. My Phillips head won't reach. Oh, actually, it will reach. All right. Start it with that, and I'll finish it with my flathead. Make sure you crank on this tight, and then when you're done, just give it a good tug. Make sure that it's not going to come off. That's pretty good. I'm going to go a little tighter. Some more turns. That's really good. So guys, this is the intake from B&R. Intake with the stock box. It's the Raccoon Racing. I think they call it the Raccoon Racing Trash Panda intake. I think that's what he calls this thing. I have them in both my bikes. They've been great. It allows you to reuse the stock box, which is really nice. You can put, I'll show you what Albert got for the lid. You can use a pre-filter lid for like the mud races, or just keep it on all the time. I gotta get one for mine, just for the mud races and the wet races. All right, so now we can work on the box. The box is definitely a little trickier. This stuff is very tight. Well, we'll get it, we'll get it. I'm gonna take apart the hose clamp after, and then put it around once I get this thing in place. I actually went in that actually went in very good. Not bad. I gotta get a little more on this side. There you go. And we're pretty lined up too, which is good. All right, so guys, if you saw, what I do is I kind of get the top of the rubber boot onto this billet housing, and then I just kind of push down and push the rubber around the outer edge of it, and then just slide the box forward. That actually, I don't know, maybe because this is my third one, I got it down now. I don't know, maybe I was just lucky, but it's a very tight fit. So it's, I think that's the best way to do it, where you start with the top, you get the sides on, and then you just push down on the bottom, and then you get the bottom to lock in, and then you can clamp it, which that's what we're gonna do now. Hopefully I can get this on here. I just gotta see which way I gotta put it. So kind of put it down on an angle. It doesn't matter which side, but just keep it down enough, because if you are going to run that cover setup, you don't want this to be in the way, and I'll show you guys that in a second. It's a pretty slick setup. All right, so that's that. We just got to bolt this thing down. Yep, that'll have to, I could go that way. That's all I'm going to do. Pop them the other way, that's fine. Then I don't need a washer. All right, then we can put the top bracket on. This thing is definitely kind of popping up a little bit. Push it down. Like that. Oh, that's good. All right, plug in our sensor for the intake. Boom. All right, guys, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get this 38 Motorsports breather box installed. Now, I've done years ago some real-time videos on this, but this is super easy. So the shortest hose you will put right here, and now this thing comes with clamps, which is sweet. So then the middle-sized hose will go on the front, and the longest hose will go on this bottom port right here. This is going to go back to the engine near the flywheel. This top one will go to the valve cover, and this one is just the vent. All right, so basically how this mounts is you're going to unbolt these two bolts for the dash, and the 38 Motorsports box will sit right in there. Then you put the dash right on top of it. Pretty slick setup. So let's get that installed. Feed hoses right through. Right between the frame and the stem. Alright, so what I will do is I will just move these wires over. So this is going to go like this. I might have to just move these electrical wires around just a little bit. Get those out of the way, and this should work easier now, hopefully. Alright, so I have to go under the clutch cable like that. There we go. That's good. Make sure that everything's free and can move. That looks good. Now we can carefully bolt it back up. Try to just get it started by hand, and then we'll tighten her up. I like to actually use little washers on here to make this solid. I'm going to do that. I know they design all the stuff to kind of move, but it's definitely a lot of movement. And then stuff wears out. So what I do is I just put like a little, just a larger washer that goes around that collar, and then it kind of just takes up the slop. Because when all the stuff is moving around, it definitely bothers me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but this is something I do on all my quads. I always got enough washers hanging around. I do it to the headlight brackets as well, because those things move around. See that? Nice and solid. We'll get this on the valve cover first. Now these hoses you can trim. They do come a little long, so you can trim them if need be. I'm definitely going to trim this one. It's kind of all you want, it is just like right there. This one's going to go down that way. Actually, I could put the whole thing in there. Actually, I'm going to trim it just a little bit, like a little over an inch. Get our clamp. Throw it on the valve cover, and then just put the clamp over it, and this is good to go. Like that, beautiful. All right, now we're just going to connect the drain hose that will drain it right back into the engine. This one you can cut the slack that you like. I like to mount it behind the radiator hose, and then I'm actually going to put a zip tie. I'm going to put a zip tie like off the fan, just so it doesn't hit the header at all. All right, we got our clamp. Shove that on there. That's pretty good. All right, then we just have our drain hose, or the vent hose, I should say, because we just did the drain hose. This one, we just kind of roll through the front of the frame, make sure it has a good little roll in it, and it kind of just goes down along the stem, down by the radiator, and that's your vent. So we're gonna zip tie this guy, get that done. Put a couple in there. Capacitor, just right against the headlight brackets. It's not going to go anywhere. Trim those up. All right, guys, we're just gonna pop the fuel tank on real quick. If I can find the bolt for it somewhere. How there? Oh, that's not it. Oh, I think that's it. Is that it? No. not in there. Alright, well, I will have to find the bolt. It's around here somewhere, but we can still pop this in. Make the last couple connections with the fuel line. And then our fuel pump plug lines up right there. I should have a bolt for that. This one will work. This one will work. Alright, so that is pretty much it. I just need to put the bolts back on for the radiator. I had taken those off when I removed the old harness, so we can do that. I won't bother filming that, but I did want to show you guys this real quick. So here is the foam and the little cover that is also from B&R. So basically what you do is you lay this foam down in here, and then this thing clamps on it. And that's extra protection for mud races, dust races, whatever. So it's definitely a cool add-on for that setup. I'd like to get one of those, like I said, for mud races. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what you think. And if you're not yet, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.